Welcome back. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is urging Congress to return from Easter recess and pass funding to end the shutdown at the Department of Homeland Security, now on day 46, the longest in history. House Republicans rejected the Senate's deal to end the shutdown on Friday night, late in the night, saying that it did not fund ICE or Customs and Border Patrol, causing them to pass their own stopgap bill before their 2-week Easter recess. President Trump took matters into his own hands, taking temporary steps to manage airport disruptions while the agency remains shut down, signing an executive order to get TSA agents paid. Some workers told Fox they've already received half of their paychecks, but remain hesitant and extremely frustrated. Joining me now is Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy. He's the chairman of the Senate Help Committee. Senator, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Maria.
So what happened?
Good morning. Yeah, what happened is that Senate Republicans have been fighting to get DHS and ICE and Border Patrol funded. Now, Senate Democrats have been opposing. The House didn't like the deal. They sent it back to us. Maria, hopefully we can get a deal right now. It's up to kind of how do we break through.
Oh, no.
That's want to have an open border. They don't want ICE funded, and they're willing to sacrifice the security of the United States to achieve their goal. And that's what we're working on.
Yeah, no, I understand. But, you know, when I spoke with Lisa McClain on Sunday, she basically said that you and your Republican senator colleagues folded with Democrats, that, you know, you did not fund ICE and Border Patrol. Of course, the money is in there from the big, beautiful bill. But here's what she told me on Sunday. Watch this.
In the middle of the night, the Senate sent us over a bill that was absolutely unacceptable. So basically what they're saying is Customs and Border Patrol has no authority, no money for Customs, Border Patrol, and our national security, no funding for DHS. And we will not negotiate while they're holding not only our national security hostage, but while they're holding the Department of TSA agents hostage and not getting them paid.
I think Leader Thune laid it out that we had assurance from OMB that both CBP and ICE are fully funded and they have the flexibility to fund them through the end of this fiscal year. So that was the reality we were going into with these negotiations. So this is the only thing we can get Democrats to agree to: fund the rest of ICE, fund the rest of DHS, TSA, Coast Guard, CISA, all these other things, get that funded, use the funding from the reconciliation bill early in the year, and then move to a reconciliation process where we can fund DHS through fiscal year 2029. That'd be my preference.
All right, so, Senator, we know what happened here, and we understand that the Democrats have dug in and are not allowing you to do much. I mean, people from the outside are looking in here and saying, how is this possible that the Republicans are in charge of the Senate, the Republicans are in charge of the House, and the Republicans are in charge of the White House, and yet we still can't see anything get accomplished here? So the question becomes your reconciliation package. Will you support a reconciliation package, and what is going to be in it?
First, I absolutely would support a reconciliation package, but let's kind of emphasize something here. Republicans recognize that Democrats could pull this trick at any point. That's why in the Working Families Tax Cuts bill, we quadrupled the funding for Department of Homeland Security, so ICE and Border Patrol are funded. Now, we thought ahead. People always say Congress doesn't think ahead. Republicans thought ahead in this one, and we insulated ourselves from this. By the way, the reason the president can sign an executive order and get TSA agents signed is because Senate Republicans were proactive putting this money out there.
Yeah.
And a reconciliation bill, yeah, that's another way to go at it. And so we're doing whatever we can, if you will, like water flowing downhill, finding a rock and then going around the rock, to make sure that our country is secure. That's my goal.
I understand. And I know that there's not a lot of or enough support in the Senate to remove the filibuster. But how are you going to feel when your Democrat colleagues are back in charge and they remove the filibuster and you didn't do it when you had the chance?
Well, first I'll say that I'm all for the talking filibuster. And I've been for the talking filibuster since I was elected to the Senate 10 years ago. And so that would be a way to get around this. And if that's what we do, that's what we do. And I can't predict the future. If I was predicting the future, I'd be at the racetrack this morning. All I can say is these are the facts before us, and that Republicans have continued to try and fund ICE and Border Patrol. Again, Democrats love an open border.
Yeah.
But that's what we're fighting against, and I'll continue to fight against it.
Yeah, but we know that a talking filibuster doesn't lead to legislation. It's just everybody talking. I mean, what I'm asking you is actually removing the filibuster.
That's not true, Maria.
Okay.
I'm going to disagree with you, Maria.
Okay.
There's been a lot of good stuff. Remember when Democrats, neither one of us would remember, but Democrats in the 1960s were trying to preserve Jim Crow laws. And people opposed to Jim Crow laws fought against it. They the Democrats put on a talking filibuster, and they were eventually broken.
Wow.
It takes a little bit of extra time, but you can break it. And that's what the power of the talking filibuster is.
Do you think your colleagues will, in fact, remove the filibuster once they're back in control on the Democrats?
I don't think, put it this way, I cannot predict the future. I won't predict the future.
Okay.
But what I can say, the only future I'll predict is that Republicans will continue to attempt to fund Department of Homeland Security until we get it done.
Let me get your take on Kevin Warsh. It looks like he may finally get his Senate Banking Committee confirmation hearing. Is it scheduled?
I don't know that. I'm not on that committee, but what I've heard from him is that the president's made a good pick with Kevin, and so I haven't talked to him yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about him.
Well, we're hearing that it is scheduled for the week of April 13th. I just wonder what the story is with Tom Tillis and whether or not he's going to dig in on this investigation into Jay Powell. So we'll be watching that. Mike Lee, jump in here.
Yeah, you guys are on recess now, and since President Trump has been president, you've never gone into full recess, allowing him to make recess appointments. And given that only a third of his U.S. attorneys have been confirmed, and we're now, 14 to 16 months into this second administration, why won't you go into a full recess and allow him to do some recess appointments for some of the people that he needs to help him run his administration?
The Senate's not going into a full recess since President Obama was there. And so that's because at the time, Republicans would not let us go into full recess because we didn't want Obama to make that. Now, Democrats are doing the same thing for President Trump. And so that said, Republicans have put in measures so that we can get President Trump's appointees through. And he right now has more appointees across the board than previous presidents have because of what Republicans in the Senate have done.
Yes, you did a great job with that. And Senator, we know what you're up against. We know that your colleagues on the left are making it really hard for progress. So we appreciate your work, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, Senator Bill Cassidy joining us. We'll be right back with the Chairman and CEO of Wells Fargo, Charlie Scharf, is here. You're watching Mornings with Maria, live on Fox Business. We'll be right back.